Hello everyone, this is Shadow Dragon back with another episode of DC Universe Online. So in this episode we're going to be following up on the Resurgence 5 time capsule prices for the Neon Chromas. So just going to start off with a couple of examples again. So to the left, that is the orange hex. And to the right, this is the iridescent neon. Both of these are pretty common. And then to the left, I have Tyranox switching into the red composite, which is a little bit more rare. So just a note that the frequency of these drops are defined by how the community ends up using them. Because the initial drop rates for these, as well as any of the other previous Resurgence time capsules, they drop evenly, so things just become rare as people use them. Okay, so if you want to check out the prices from my previous video, which was about sort of like at the halfway but leaning towards the beginning of the Resurgence, just click on the cards to the top. But we're going to hop in, and this is towards the end. They didn't put an end date on. The date of this video is June 29th. I kind of think that's the full month already. But they didn't mention an end date. So normally they do run for about a month. And then of course there's like the 14-day expiration from when they drop on the last day, so it's possible it gets stretched out another 2 weeks. But we should be seeing possibly the lowest end of these at the moment. And sometimes I don't follow up if there aren't like any major changes, but it seems like because of the price drops, you could kind of see some of the tiers merging in comparison to the previous video. So the ones at the lower end are still at the lower end. It's basically the 3 hexes, the iridescent, and the quartz. So those before were about 5 to 9. So now they're about, they should be about 3 million. What I just pulled up here, I think these were just loaded up recently. So it could just be someone that opened a lot and dumped them all on here. Sometimes you could tell like if they're listed at the same price. So someone's just trying to get rid of them quick. But yeah, the lower end is going to be the same as I just mentioned, and they should be roughly 3, although you can see them for 2. So if you're patient enough, you can get them for 2 and maybe even a little bit under. Just as a side tip, if you're the owner of multiple of these, don't put them all on at the same time for the same price. That's not the way to sell them. You're just competing against yourself when you do that. Alright, so we're just going to page through, and we're still seeing the lower tier items. Pearl should start to come in at around 4 to 5. And the camos should also be under the 5 million tier. So more or less the order is somewhat the same. So here you see the neon camo. I'm actually not too familiar with where the camos fall in, because it's just one of the ones I forgot to search for daily. Not too many characters for me that are going to use camo. I just have one munitions character. So more of the same. Once we get into like the 8 to 10, you're going to start seeing Oh yeah, I forgot about Electrum too. Electrum is sort of at the higher end of the 5. It'll be like probably 5 to 7 at this point in time. But at the 10s, you're going to start seeing both the vinyls and the composites. Um, those two types were kind of expected to be high because we have red and blue for both of those, which are primary. And they just tend to work with a lot of superhero costumes. So if you're trying to texture match two pieces that didn't work previously, the vinyls and the composites will work really well. Vinyl tends to be sort of like the comic book type color, where it's like a bright blue and a red, and the composites would be like the live action versions of those, where you see like a carbon fiber like texture, and they're a little bit darker. So they're similar to costumes that you see in like the CW live action or DCEU in the movies. So now we're getting into the 9s, and you're starting to see the vinyls here. The vinyls and composites were well above 10 before, so this is with the price drop over time. So I would say the average is 10, and if you find them for like below 10, like a 9 or 8, that would be a pretty good bargain at this time. And it's hard to say which one edges out the other, because it's going to be different every, like, you know, as you check at different times during the day. But typically, the blue will be slightly higher than the red, from what I've noticed across both types. If you see anything like the hex at this price range, don't buy those. Golden is kind of mixed in with the composites and the vinyls, and the one major change between this point in time and my previous video is the steel one kind of dropped considerably. So you will see some of those at the 10 area. Although the regular price is probably in the 15s. Let's take a look. See if there's a jump there. Okay, that kind of went up from when I last checked. I was grabbing these whenever they were 10. So it is possible that these are 10. But seems like the normal price for these would probably be 15 to 18. So it is sort of in a tier of its own still, although it can drop to the 10 million point. So it's just a product of everything being reduced, where it looks like the steel is closer to that other tier. The only one that's way out is the black composite. So while that's better than 150 or 200, that's still kind of high for something that doesn't give you a feat, something that's just cosmetic. It is a really nice looking one, and it's very compatible with just about any style. I just personally, I wouldn't pay that much for it though. It's not worth that much. But yeah, there you have it. This is what the prices are on US PCPS. Probably at the tail end of this promotion. You know, it's possible that they get lower or maybe even stay the same, because we don't know what's going to happen during that 14 days of expiration from the final date. I don't think it's affected it too much in the past. It just kind of slowed down the steep price jump, because once we're past that 14 days from when they stop dropping, that's pretty much when they're exclusive, because it's not possible for anyone to add a new one to the wild after that. So yeah, as they expire and as players like leave and come into the game, that also contributes to the price increasing. Any of these are going to jump drastically years from now, like 1 or 2, probably 1 or 2 years, you're going to see a giant difference, because we do see that with other Resurgence items. The ironic thing about it is, like, things tend to look better as we move into the future, but it's the old expired items that are worth more. So like, as an example, if you look at the power materials versus the power chromas, the chromas are newer and they look much better, but the materials are significantly more valuable. So yeah, once again, I want to stress, like, if you're able to snatch up a bunch of these, just hold them even if you don't like them, because years from now you'll be able to sell them and get the rare current item. Okay, that is it from here. Hope you had luck getting these, and good luck in the final days. Thanks for watching.